Good visible lead.
You have 10 kills remaining.
Your back's against the wall. Come on. You've taken the lead. You've taken the lead. You're stomping them. Got this.
Just 5 kills remaining. That's a victory. You won! That's a victory.
Warning. Now entering a contaminated area.
Hey, what is up, everyone? The LDB is back at it again, coming at you today with my Lone Star PvP build for 1.8.3. And it's really been fun messing around with this build again since it has been a little while, so keep that in mind when you're watching the gameplay. I will be the first to admit I am not the best with LMGs, so just take it easy in the comment section below. Now, if you are good with LMGs on the other hand, this build should definitely work out for you pretty nice. So, as always, if you enjoy or find these videos helpful in any way, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content if you are new to the channel, make sure you have that notification bell on, as well as go ahead and drop a comment down there letting everybody know how you're running Lone Star in PvP for 1.8.3. So, let's get into it. Okay, so let's go over these skills and talents really quick. Nothing too crazy here. I'm going to be going with a Recon Pack Pulse because, like I've said in previous videos, it does have the highest crit hit chance and the lowest cooldown out of all of the pulses. And on this build in particular, I'm going to be focusing more on crit chance than damage because, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to stack damage than chance. For instance, if you look at a lot of the weapon mods that you get, 19% crit hit damage, but it's only 3% chance. So any way you can get that chance up a little bit higher is definitely a good thing. So moving on to my secondary skill here, the Booster Shot, temporarily increasing damage and damage resistance. So again, it's a 2-for-1. I love it, but that temporary increase of damage is definitely where it's at. If you pop this before you go into combat, you're going to be 15% damage up, and then when your Berserk goes off on top of it, well, that's just nasty. Let's just put it that way. So definitely try that out. Now, I was running with a Immunizer for a little while because of status effects. There's been a lot of Firecrest, a lot of Tactician, and, well, Pred, of course. So this will definitely help you out with that. Maybe swap out your Booster Shot for the Immunizer. I would definitely say keep that pulse going. Again, get that chance up as much as possible, and then kind of worry about heals after the fact, because you're more working with burst damage on this build, I feel like, and again, you have no kind of self-heal or anything, so that Immunizer might be something you want to try out. Now, as far as signatures go, I'm going with a Recovery Link because I'm mainly running solo, and even in a group, if somebody goes down, I like to be able to pick them up. Now, if you want to get crazy, you could always run Attack Link, and when your Berserk goes off, pop this. That's just disgusting. Everything gets melted. It's absolutely amazing. Try that out for sure. It's a lot of fun. Now, if you want to be a little bit more safer, you could always go with the Survivor Link and give you that damage resistance. You can always pop this and then just face tank them, get that Berserk to proc, and just melt them down. So to each their own, whatever you want to use, whatever works for you. Try out different things. So let's go on to the talents now. Okay, so the talents that I'm going to be using, again, pretty straightforward. Adrenaline, Medkit gives you 7 seconds of immunity from status effects. So, again, that goes against those Firecrest, the Tactician, especially Pred Bleed. This will definitely help you out with that, so don't overlook that. I think this is pretty much a must for the majority of PvP builds. Now, moving on to Critical Save, use a Medkit during low health to increase damage resistance 20%. So if you're getting lit up, you got to pop a med kit, 20% damage resistance, and that'll kind of give you a little bit of time to kind of duck back and pick your shots and hopefully help you out a little bit. So moving on to precision, I know I am running a pulse as well, but I just want to make sure that at all times my crit hit chance and damage is at max and as consistent as possible at those high levels. So precision will definitely help you out with that. Now, again, since I am absolutely terrible with LMGs, I forgot how bad I was with them, but steady hands will definitely help you out. Enter any cover to reduce recoil by 25% for 10 seconds. So if you have any kind of stability, accuracy, things like that on the weapon itself, and then you apply this as well, it definitely makes a huge difference. Try it out with and without steady hands on, and you will know what I'm talking about. So let's get on to the build itself. And here it is. So, as you can see, nothing crazy. We have a 6-piece classified Lone Star. We have the firearms at 7,500 and the stamina at 5,600. I basically tried to go right in between an 8 and 5 build and a 7 and 6 build. And right here in the middle, as close as I could get it, has been working out really nice for me. So let's take a look at what we are actually going to get from Lone Star. The 2-piece gives you that plus 100% ammo capacity. So even if you can't get ammo on your chest piece or your backpack, you will still be running around with a decent amount of ammo. Now, I recommend at least roll ammo onto one of those pieces, your chest or your backpack, and just push that ammo capacity as much as you can. Therefore, you will not be looking for ammo anytime soon. Now, the set 3 bonus gives you that plus 8% LMG damage and the plus 8% shotgun damage. So you pick whichever one you want, and you're going to get that damage up for those weapon types. Now, the 4-piece gives you the talent Lone Star. When the weapon is holstered, it is instantly reloaded. I love this. No more 5.5-second reload times for an LMG. You simply swap weapons, and it is automatically reloaded. Gotta love it. Now, the 5-piece gives you another 50% ammo capacity and another 12% LMG and 12% shotgun damage. So, right there, we are doing awesome on ammo and damage up. Now, the 6-piece here gives you the talent Berserker. This is awesome. When a weapon has 50% of its magazine remaining in combat, there is a 75% chance to receive a bonus that activates when the final bullet is fired from the current magazine. Once activated, the magazine is instantly refilled, weapon damage and fire rate is increased 30%. The bonus is cancelled by reloading, swapping weapons, or exiting combat. So, 30% weapon damage up and fire rate increase is a huge thing. That is an amazing thing. I mean, and that really does come into effect when we talk about the weapons. So let's go over to the weapons and break those down. Okay, so my primary weapon that I'm going to be using is an Infantry Mg. Now, the reason that I picked this mainly is simply because it has all of the mod slots unlocked. Compared to, per se, the Big Alejandro that is missing a mod slot, it doesn't make a huge difference, not the end of the world, because that weapon obviously has the RPM to make up for it. But for my primary, I just wanted something with all the mod slots available. That way I can stack that crit chance, the crit damage, headshot damage, etc., all that good stuff as much as possible, and it's been working out awesome. Now, this weapon here is only a 272 gear score, but it's still hitting at 21.6k per bullet. I'd say that's pretty good. And the RPM, we're at 881. The mag is pretty small, but that's for good reason. And I really like LMGs because they are much different than SMGs or assault rifles. SMGs come with that crit chance on the weapon. Assault rifles come with enemy armor damage. LMGs come with damage to targets out of cover. And on this weapon, we got 22% damage to targets out of cover. So if they're not hiding from you, 22% damage up. If you pop your booster shot, that's another 15%. If Berserk goes off, that's another 30%. If you got your pulse out there, your crit chance and damage is up. I mean, everything stacks up really nice on this build, and it's really strong for DPS players. Now let's take a look at the talents that I have on here. I have Deadly, Vicious, and Fierce. Absolute crit machine. I am loving it. Now, you could always go with, like Deadly Predatory, Deadly Accurate. I know that is a pretty popular one. I tried that out, and I do like it. I just really like this complete crit build right here. This is awesome. But Accurate is definitely a good one because it makes the reticle for the LMG a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier to land those precision shots, especially while you're moving. If you're shooting and moving, the LMG reticle opens up. It's really big, and it's kind of hard to land those shots right in the middle. You really got to, pick your shots and aim a little bit harder with LMGs. But either way, if you want to go with all crit, it's been working out really nice for me. Now, as far as the mods go for this weapon, I'm going with the magazine with mag size, crit chance, and rate of fire. If you could get something with crit chance and crit damage with that high rate of fire, I would definitely recommend this. Now, the reason I'm not going with a big mag for this build is because it takes too long to proc your Berserk. This way, with the smaller mag and the higher rate of fire, you're just pushing that rate of fire when Berserk goes off, as well as getting that Berserk to proc. So just definitely try that out. You could always go with a big magazine. That way, when your Berserk does proc, you do have a lot more bullets to go Berserk with. But again, to each their own personal preference, whatever you want to go with. Now, the optics are crit chance, crit damage, and headshot damage. The muzzle is crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage as well. And the underbarrel has crit damage, accuracy, and a little bit of optimal range. Now, my secondary weapon is a Big Alejandro. Again, 22% damage to targets out of cover. The damage per bullet is a little bit lower, 19.1k, but the RPM is at over 1100 rounds per minute. This thing is an absolute laser beam. I'm loving it. This one has Unforgiving, Deadly, and Cover Shooter. So again, Cover Shooter here. Every bullet fired at an enemy from cover increases weapon damage by 0.5% up to 50%. 50% damage up. The bonus lasts for 10 seconds. Getting a kill with this weapon while in cover resets the duration. The bonus damage is cancelled by reloading, swapping weapons, or exiting combat. So, if you're in cover and you start to get a damage stack up and you get your Berserk to proc and you pop your booster shot on top of it, it's just disgusting. You are a laser beam, the damage you're putting out is through the roof, and people do not like it. Now, I have Unforgiving on here. Typically, I would have a secondary with Predatory. You could try that out just to be on the safe side, but honestly, with this build being more geared towards DPS and not really for sustainability, I went with Unforgiving. Missing health segments increase damage, so the less life that I have, the more damage I'm doing, and if I'm in cover, I'm doing more damage, and then when Berserk procs, doing more damage, pop your booster shot, doing more damage. It's just everything stacks up awesome on this build. I'm loving it. So those are the weapons there. The mods that I have on this weapon is a magazine with mag size, crit chance, rate of fire. The optics are crit damage, crit chance, and accuracy, and the muzzle is crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. So again, pretty straightforward. Stack up that crit chance and damage and get that headshot damage wherever you can. Every little bit helps. So let's go on to the build now and get into the specifics. Alright, so let's get in here and see what I got going. The chest piece that I have here is rolled for stamina. We have health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. I went with skill haste just because I wanted to get that pulse back a little bit quicker so I can keep that thing active, as well as the booster shot. Keep that thing going just to get that damage up as often as possible. Now, moving on to the mods, I have 2 firearms with health mods here instead of the crit hit chance mods, because I was honestly feeling pretty squishy on this build, and after I put a couple of these mods on here, it really did make a world of difference. So if you are feeling a little bit squishy, definitely try out a couple of these health mods. It should help out a lot. So moving on to the mask here, it is rolled for firearms with crit chance, burn resistance, and we have a firearms with crit hit chance mod on there. Now the knee pads here, we are rolled for firearms with crit hit damage, bleed, shock, and disorient resistance. So as far as resistance goes, we're doing pretty solid here. Now moving on to the mods, we have a firearm with crit hit chance mod and a 2% pulse crit hit chance mod. Again, focus on that chance over the damage. And when I show you the character sheet, you'll probably understand why I keep saying that. Now moving on to the holster here, it's almost maxed out. It's not 1401s across the board. I am trailing a little bit in the electronics area, but I'm really not too worried about it. It is rolled for crit chance, and we have a 6% first aid self-heal mod. I only have this on because, I'll be honest, I ran out of 2% pulse crit hit chance mods, and I figured, well, since this build doesn't have any self-heal or anything like that, throw one of these on there so whenever you hit your first aid, it's going to be a little bit stronger. Not a lot, but every little bit counts, right? So moving on to the gloves, nothing special here. We have them rolled for stamina with Lmg damage, crit chance, and damage on that, so pretty straightforward. Now the backpack we have rolled for firearms with crit damage, burn resistance, and we have a stamina with crit chance mod and 2 more 2% pulse crit hit chance mods. So that is the build right there. Let's take a look at the character sheet and see what that all breaks down to. Alright, so let's take a look here. The base weapon damage is 21,500 per bullet. That's not too bad, I'd say. The crit chance here is 44.5%. That's pretty good for an LMG build. And that's why I was saying focus on that crit chance, because the crit damage, as you can see, 115%. Like I've said in other videos, as long as you can crack that 100%, you're doing double damage when the crit lands. And with 44% with that pulse or the precision active, we're almost at the max, and then with that damage landing, it's hitting pretty hard. We have the headshot damage 97%, so if I smack them in the face, they're not going to like it very much at all. Moving on, we have the reload time of 5.5 seconds. That is incorrect. It's about 1 second, however long it takes for you to swap weapons back and forth, and you're reloaded. Moving on, we have the LMG damage bonus of 32%. That is huge. 32% damage up. I mean, I'm loving this. Now, the shotgun damage bonus is still up 20%, and I haven't really even messed around with shotguns with this build very much at all. I was thinking about doing maybe a PvP or a PvE build. I'm thinking more so a PvE shotgun build. If that's something that you are interested in, definitely let me know down there in the comments. Now, we don't have any damage to elites or enemy armor damage, nothing like that, because again, we are in PvP. The skills, we don't have a whole lot going on there. We've got that little bit of skill haste, 9%. It's better than a goose egg, you know, big old 0. 9%, I mean, it is what it is. Every little bit helps. Now, the toughness, 446,000, so we're doing all right there. Max health, just over 300,000, so okay there. The armor, it's getting there. It's a work in progress. Health regen, so on and so forth, nothing crazy here. We have the bleed resistance of 33%. We have the burn resistance, 34%. Disorient, 32%. And shock of 33%. I really would have rather had that disrupt instead of disorient, but beggars can't be choosers, and overall I'd say we're doing pretty solid here as far as resistance goes. So that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and took something away from it. If you enjoyed or found this helpful in any way, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content, especially if you are new to the channel, and go ahead and drop a comment down there letting everybody know how you're running Lone Star in PvP for 1.8.3. So until next time, guys, I hope you take it easy. I will see you then. Later.